All right, now if you've listened to the 5 pillars of social media marketing that we've listed in the previous video, if you've not watched the video, then you can actually watch the video so as to have a proper knowledge of what we've been dealing so far, and so good. All right, once again, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Olaniyo Emmanuel, and I'm here to actually dish out more knowledge to you about how you can actually develop your social media marketing knowledge. Now, today we're going to be moving to another thing entirely, but let me do a brief recap of what the 5 pillars of SMMA entails. And the very first one we talked about is social strategy pillar. We talked about planning and publishing pillar. We talked about listening and engagement pillar. We talked about analytics and reporting pillar, and lastly we talked about advertising pillar. Now, we've not yet gotten to the stage where we'll now start advertising. This is just the stage where we're trying to grow our social media page right from the scratch. We're trying to grow it from the scratch entirely. So today we're going to be talking about social strategy. Yeah, since we're dealing with social media page, we need to talk about social strategy. What are the social strategy you need to factor into consideration? Now, I have 3 points that I want you to take note on that social strategy pillar. The first one is, what are your goals? You need to have a pen. You need to pen down your goals. What are your goals? The second one is, which platform will help you? Which platform will help you? Which platform will help you? And the last one is, what type of content will you give your audience? What type of content will you give your audience? What type of content will attract your audience? You know, for you to come on to my YouTube channel, you've actually see that I have a particular content to dish out to you. That's why you are here, and I so much appreciate that. So now let's now get into those 3 points that I listed. What are your goals? Which platform will you use? And what type of content will attract your audience? Now, the first thing is, when you're setting your goals, you can't just set goals while just walking around, blah, blah. You need to sit down and plan. What are your goals like? What do you want to achieve? What's your plan for your social media page? What are the strategy you want to use? What are your goals? Just set your goals, have a pen, note down your goals, make it bit by bit, and have it in a well-recorded note. Make sure you set goals that are feasible. Don't set goals that are too cumbersome. If you know that you have huge goals to actually achieve, try to break it down into smaller and smaller units. Try to break it down into smaller and smaller units so as to make it easier for yourself. Now, the second strategy is, which platform will help you? Now, a lot of people don't know the platform they can actually use to get across to their audience. A lot of people don't know the platform they can actually use to get across to their audience. But I will be giving you like 9 platforms that I use to actually get across to my audience. You can later now choose the one that actually work best for you. But I will always advise you that if you're going to be diving into the business of social media marketing agency, you need to have a proper knowledge of how all this platform works. You need to have a knowledge of how all this platform works. Now, let's now get to work. And what do we have on the table now? I have 9 social media platforms that you can actually dive into. And what are the 9 social media platforms that you can dive into? I tag it as WEG, Please, Fit. WEG, Please, Fit. So what does WEG Fit? What does WEG Please Fit stand for? Now, the W stand for WhatsApp. The E stand for emails. The G stand for Google Ads. So we have WhatsApp, we have email marketing, we have Google Ads, we have Pinterest adverts, we have LinkedIn adverts, we have Snapchat adverts, we have Facebook adverts, we have Instagram adverts, and we have Twitter adverts. So we have WhatsApp, you have emails, you have Google Ads, you have Pinterest, you have LinkedIn, you have Snapchat, you have Facebook, you have Instagram, and you have Twitter. Now, the common ones that people use for adverts mostly is the Facebook, the Instagram, the WhatsApp. Now, these are the 3 most common social media platforms that people use to actually get across to their audience. But a lot of people need to understand that when you're getting across to your audience, you need to factor in which platform will best suit you in the business. So I will be explaining more about all these platforms in the next video. So now let's quickly rush down to the last strategy under social strategy pillar, which is what type of content will attract your audience. Now you need to have proper understanding of your audience. In my next video, I'll be talking about type of audience that you have and the type of content you can actually create for them. But pending that time, you need to know, okay, what type of content will attract your audience. You can't be running a content for someone that have interest in shoes and you're giving that person product like biro or pen or eraser. No. You need to understand your audience perfectly. You need to know, okay, what will my audience want and what did they actually care so much about. You need to care about your audience, not you personally. So stay tuned and watch my next video. I'm going to be sharing with you the content and the type of audience you have. Thank you.